And welcome to this DAZ 3D book cover tutorial that I'm going to guide you guys through. So if you read my previous blog post, there was a link to DAZ 3D's website, which has the DAZ Studio program available for download. So once you've downloaded that and got it installed and ready, just double click and we'll open it up, have it load here. So this is what you'll get as soon as you open it up. There's some quick start guides and tutorials, training videos, and a link to the DAZ store. I've never really used this screen for anything. I kind of like to do things myself, but this might be helpful to you if you want to look through some of the tutorials and training videos that are available from the program itself. But for now, we're just going to hit OK and move on. So this screen, for those of you unfamiliar with 3D programs or with DAZ in general, this is just the 3D plane of where things will sit, and where we'll basically take pictures, I'll call them pictures for now just for simplicity, of the figures and the environments in a 3D plane. So this is the ground plane here, the grids that you see along, and there's a Z-axis, there's the x-axis, and then there's the y-axis. So this little cube is what we'll use to navigate the plane once we have things on here to look at and different angles that we want to take. So when we're thinking about book covers specifically, at least for myself, I try to think of a really dynamic scene with a figure there and maybe something in the foreground, something interesting to kind of really get a potential reader's attention. So let's start, shall we? Over here in the Smart Content, you're going to see all of these different tabs for categories that can be in your scene here in the 3D plane. So for now, let's go into figures. These are different characters. I have more here because I've just amassed a lot of different ones, but for those of you who have just downloaded the program, you're only going to see a few of them. Some of the ones that you'll see are going to be the basic female, basic male. There's the Genesis 2 base female and the Genesis 2 base male, and you'll probably also have the surfer guy. Now, when you load any of the basic ones, they're just going to be, think of just mannequins or action figure kind of a thing. They're just going to show up without any clothes or anything like that, and then you have to add clothes in the wardrobe and other things like armor or swords, depending on what you're doing. So for now, just to make this simple and easy for those of you navigating this program for the first time, I'm just going to click on this surfer guy, click on it twice, and we'll load him up and get him into the scene here. Take just a little longer, my computer's a little slow. There he is. Yeah, well, when you click on this again, it'll expand your view frame. And there he is. He's a surfer, he's already in a pose, got his surfboard and everything. Looks good, right? I mean, for the most part. So now, there are different things that are in this scene right now. You've got your figure, your base model, you've got the clothing, and he's also wearing some sandals, and he's holding onto a surfboard. So now when you want to see all these different components in the scene, you just click over here on the scene, and you're just going to see Genesis 2 male, which is the name of the base figure that we're using. If you click on this little arrow, it'll expand, and it'll show you that we've got the Surf's Up shirt, shorts, flip-flops, and a surfboard. Click on any of these little eyes here, they'll, let's just say here, there he is, ready to go on the beach and get sunburned probably. Click it again, it brings back the shirt. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to just run you through making a scene with this figure, and since I am a writer of fantasy and sci-fi, I'm going to make a simple sci-fi scene just to show you how easy it can be to make a scene in this program. So first of all, we'll just get rid of the surfboard here. and remove it from the scene. So now he's just standing in his pose. And we'll go back to, oh wait, that's not what I wanted. Okay. So now in the program, if you look up here, there are some more tabs. We've had a pose and animate tab, lights and cameras tab, and a render tab. This tab is the one we were just in, which shows you all the different things you can put in the scene. Close that. The pose tab will give us different poses that we can put our figure in. You've got to click him first to be able to see what different poses you have available. So there's quite a few different ones. These are, again, ones that I have collected over the span of a year probably, so the ones that come with the program are probably going to be these ones where he's wearing sort of a blue outfit. So we'll pick one of these. Let's do this running pose. So you see it automatically, expand this, automatically puts them into a pose. So pretty simple. Alright, so we'll use this pose. And now, if you look at the 3D plane, there isn't anything except the figure. We've just got him there. And if we wanted to complete the scene with this, it would look pretty boring. And just to show you what it looks like to complete it, over here is a render tab. The render tab is what we will essentially use to complete the scene. It'll take a picture, so to speak. So if you just click on it, I won't go into all of this right now to overwhelm you. We'll just click on this render tab, and then this will load up. And this is what a completed scene will look like. Again, there's nothing here except for the figure. There isn't any environment, there isn't any lighting. It's just pretty basic, pretty boring. So we'll go back and we'll add a few things to make this just a more interesting scene. So open up this Smart Content tab, and why don't we add, let's see, sometimes if you have the figure highlighted, like I do right now, you're not going to see all of the options that you have. You're only going to see options relating to the specific figure or object that you have highlighted. So we'll click on this, we'll click in the gray area here, and it'll unhighlight him, and now we've gotten a lot more options of things we can add. So I'm going to click on an animal here, and we've got a dragon, so let's add a dragon in the scene. Let's make this interesting. Dragon going after a surfer guy. Alright, so the dragon loads up, and as you can see here, the dragon is intersecting our figure, which is not what we want. Figures and objects are always going to load up onto this crisscrossing of the x-axis and the y-axis. So you have to move them out of that spot so that you don't get this where you have these two colliding figures. So whenever you select any 3D object in DAZ 3D, you are going to get this little wireframe box with these arrows, the red arrow, the green arrow, and the blue arrow. What these do is that they will move when you click on the tips. They will move in the direction that they are pointing in the different axes that you have available. So we're going to click on the green one and move the dragon up. And then over here in our cube, we'll just rotate the view to kind of get an idea where the dragon is. Now right now, when you download this program, your dragon will probably have won't look like this. This dragon doesn't have any kind of texture or color to it. It's just really plain, just looks like a featureless dragon. And that's partly because of the dragon I have on my system is different than the one that you will receive. Yours will look much different if you're downloading this for the first time, because DAZ has done some updates and is able to provide a featured dragon. So I'm just going to do something quickly to get my dragon to look less like a plastic doll and more like a dragon. So I'm going to go into this Surfaces tab here. I meant the Shaping tab. And think surfacey is what I wanted. Okay. I'm just going to apply this material. And this isn't something that you'll need to do. I'm just doing this now to make it look more like a dragon. So there you see, if we zoom in a little bit, and you can zoom in and zoom out with your mouse wheel. I'll turn the cube, and now the dragon's got some pupils and some scaly skin, and looks more like a dragon. So let's zoom out. Now, I'm going to have this dragon chasing this surfer guy that's running, so once again, we're going to click on the dragon, and click on this blue arrow, and move him back. And then I think I'm going to just rotate him down a little bit, more at an angle, like he's just about to bite the surfer guy in the back or in the head here. So to do that, to incline or angle your figure, you're going to want to look for these little circles, these little curves. Right there's a red curve, and then when you put your mouse over it, it creates this circle. So when you click on the circle, left click on the circle, you can move it left or right with your mouse, and it inclines whatever object you have selected. So I'm going to incline the dragon here. It's facing downward now, like he's chasing the surfer, and as you can see, it looks a little more how we want it to look. Now maybe the dragon needs to open his mouth a little bit here. So he's about to chomp down or breathe some fire on this guy. So whenever you go over different parts of a figure's body, like the dragon, you can see here we've got the forearm and the different fingers. It just highlights these different aspects. Whenever something is highlighted like that, it means you can click on it and move it. Just like we moved the dragon up and down, these different sections will give you the same box that will allow you to manipulate the dragon into a pose that you want. Now, before, if we can just go back a little bit here, last time we picked a specific pose for our surfer guy. And if you remember, it was in this tab. We went, open this, and there was the pose that we did. Now we can do the same thing for the dragon here. Oh, if you want to pick the entire dragon, you want to double click on him. Well, maybe that doesn't work. Okay, let's go back to the scene tab over here, and you just pick on the top. See, these different aspects open up to you. You've got the wing, the collarbone, all these different parts of the dragon. When you want to manipulate the entire figure, you want to go to the top here. It's usually the one with the little boxes stacked like that. Close that. Alright, so now we've got the dragon selected. And as you can see, we've got all these different poses for the dragon. Now these poses will not be available to you when you first download DAZ 3D. These are ones that are actually will need to be bought in the store. So I'm not going to use any of them since they're not available to those of you who have just downloaded this program. So that would be kind of cheating on my part. So I'm going to close that, and I'm just going to manually do the pose. The thing about these poses that are available here is that they save you the trouble of having to go through every little aspect of this and create a specific pose, which can be very time consuming. So they're kind of nice for that reason. But for now, we're just doing something simple. So I'm going to click on his lower jaw. You can see it highlights. And then we're going to do this incline. And just open up that jaw. And there we go. Now it looks like he's about to breathe fire or do something really bad to this surfer guy. So that's looking pretty good. We're just going to keep that like that. Alright. And now we've got more of a scene going on, but we still don't have any kind of environment here. Everything is plain. So let's add a scene. We'll go over here to Actors, Wardrobe, and Props. Click on the Smart Content. And once again, we're clicked on the dragon, so we're not getting all the options we want. So click on this gray area here. We'll get everything else. And here we have some environments. Got a couple different ones. Click on this triangle and we'll get just some different categories. This one here, the Alchemy Chasm, is one that will come standard with the free download. So I'm going to just click on the one that says set right above here. The set one includes a lot more than the prop. The prop is only going to include a few parts of the scene, but I want the set because it's going to have everything that we need. And it's going to take a little while to load. Okay. Let me close this out. So as you can see, now we've got a really huge environment here, and it looks like we've got a platform and then just a chasm here. And it's not looking too good for my surfer guy because he's running on air here, and we don't really want that. So we're going to have to move the dragon and our surfer guy to kind of fit this scene that we've created. So actually I'm going to zoom out here. If you want to pan the camera, there's this little directional thing, and you can just click on it. And right now our view is obstructed because we're looking at the outside of the background I just loaded. So we're going to have to zoom in to kind of go through the wall here and see what we're doing. So just bear with me as I get this going. Alright. So we'll move the dragon up. And click on the arrow. Get him down over here. Alright, I'm going to just leave him there for a moment while I click on our surfer. Okay. Let's move back so I can see where that arrow is. And there's the arrow. Alright. Now, we still don't have it exactly the way we want it, but we're getting close. Let's move back. Click on the dragon again. Now, if you click on these little diagonal triangles here, the white triangle, this will allow you to manipulate your figure or object in a diagonal way rather than going up or, just in one way. So it lets you have a little more freedom in how you're moving it. So we'll place him there. Click on our victim here. Put him down. Now if you see this, I'll zoom in so you can see better. When you're placing a figure on the ground, you have to be careful because sometimes it will collide with the floor. So his foot is going through the floor here. So you have to just kind of be aware of how to get it just right. And you have to probably look through different angles. And it looks like his foot is planted on the floor there, and that's what we want to see. Alright. So here we go. Now we've got more of a scene going on here. So once you've decided on an angle, let's just do this. This gives you a good shot here. Let's say this is the angle and the scene you want for your book cover or whatever it may be. We'll go with that. Now, when you're done placing everything in the scene, you want to put in some lighting. Right now, there isn't any lighting in the scene. It looks like there is lighting because you can see everything, but that's something that DAZ does as a program, is it puts in a working light so that you can see what you're doing in the scene. But if we go over to render, like we did before, and in this little box, this is going to be where our scene is. If you want to move this box, like maybe you want to capture the dragon's wings, you'll have to move the angle a little more or zoom out to kind of get everything you want in the scene. For now, we'll just leave it right there. So let's render and see what this looks like. Okay, so we have, again, a very basic lighting structure right here. It looks kind of, just the skin looks a little plasticky, and there's not really a ton of detail on the dragon or on the walls, and that's because we're lacking in light. If we put in some lighting that isn't just the basic lighting, this scene will really pop and look a lot more realistic, or just heighten the scene much more than it is right now with the basic lighting. So let's close that. We'll head over here to this tab, the Lights and Cameras tab. Click on the lights. And again, we're not getting all the options because we are clicked onto the mail here, the Genesis 2 mail. So let's click on the gray area. Oh, we're also in the wrong. We always want to be under presets. Editors for doing a lot of advanced options that we won't get into in this tutorial. So we'll go into presets, and now we've got some different lighting options. We'll just go into the lights. And there are all kinds of different lights here. Some of these you may have included in your program. Others I've, again, just either bought or found for free online. But one that will come standard, that is probably one of the best lighting sources, is this one here. It's called Uber Environment 2 Base. Let's double click on this. And now you see everything just turned white, and some things are visible and some things are not. What happened here was that we added a large lighted sphere. If you zoom out far enough, you'll see that we can't see anything right now because we're outside this big white sphere of light. Zoom in. Inside the sphere, everything is being lit. Right now, it's not going to render this way. Even though this is what it looks like, this is not what the render is going to look like. It's just giving us, cluing us in that this scene is lit by the sphere. So we've got our scene here and our lighting. Next thing you want to do if you use the Uber environment light, you're going to want to find it in your scene hierarchy here. It's at the bottom here. Click on it, and then we're going to go back to the Light tab, and let's see. You're going to want to find this. It's the one that says Set Quality. The picture here looks almost exactly the same. It's probably the same as the Uber environment, the icon. So we're going to find it, the one with the tea kettle, and you're going to find the best quality. These are different levels of quality. So we were going to pick the 4x high set quality. Double click on that. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but something did actually happen. So you don't have to keep on clicking it to expect to see something. This is what's known as a type of shader material that is being applied to our Uber environment sphere. And you're not going to see it here in your working space. You're only going to see the effects of it when we've rendered the scene or taken the picture. So let's close this out. Now you're going to see, go to render. Before I render this, I'm just going to go into this render tab pretty quickly. So in the render tab, we've got all kinds of options here. I typically do not mess with any of this unless I have looked deeply into it or different tutorials, because all of these options will affect the output of what we render. It'll either make it more realistic or do all sorts of technical things to the image. And if you're just trying to do something simple but graphically nice looking, you don't want to get too involved in messing with these options unless you know what you're doing. Something you will probably toggle will be this option here. This is the dimensions of the picture. Right now I've got a 640 by 448 resolution, so that's how big the picture will be. And we've got different options for, you can do widescreen. I'll give you a wider picture. That's actually probably more preferable. We can get much more in there. And you've got square. There's all kinds of different options for the shaping of your final render. So we'll put it on the widescreen, the 16:9 aspect ratio. And then if let's bump this up a little bit. We'll go with 800 and 450. Usually if you enter a value in this first field, this will automatically change to make this look correct proportionally. And then when you do that, whenever you change these values, this will always default to custom. It's still widescreen, as you can see, but I changed the pixel rate the pixel ratio that they had under the widescreen preset. So we'll have that set for now, and then we're going to click on render. Now that we've added light to this, it's going to take a little longer to render it. So now you can already see that this is looking much nicer than the previous render. You can see that there's more light, there's more texture to the columns here, you can see more of the membrane of the wings on the dragon, and just a much better picture than the one without the lighting, without the Uber environment sphere. So now it's taken just a little long here to get the figure, the surfer in place. And you might have a faster computer than I do, and it might render this a lot quicker. There's a lot of different things that go into rendering this, from the video card speed to how much memory your computer has, and so on and so forth. So right now you can see just a much nicer looking picture here. So this is how far I'm going to go into this today, but this is, go into DAZ, play around with it, see what you can do, pose figures, put things in your scene, and once you get more of an understanding of how the program works, how you can set things, even put shadows, different lights, there's all kinds of options. It can give you the ability to create a really nice looking cover for your book. Unfortunately, DAZ doesn't have any text that we can add to this picture, but that's something that we might cover at a later time in a Photoshop tutorial that I'm planning to do. So if you have any questions or comments on this tutorial, please let me know. Put it on the page here at danieladorno.com, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for watching.